It is Veterans Day today. Obviously, I'm sure you're already well aware. And it is the day that you should pick up your phone and call the veteran in your life. Text the veteran in your life. We really do have the land of the free, not because of the Constitution, and I love the Constitution. We have the land of the free because brave people have been willing to fight and die for this country throughout our history. That's why we are free. That's why we remain free. That's why we haven't been overrun by China and Russia just yet, because we still have legions and legions of brave people willing to serve. If you have someone in your life like that, and everybody does, it's a good day to shoot them a text. Give them a phone call. Just say thank you. That's all. Just say thank you. Joining me now for this wonderful Veterans Day, Tom Sauer, former Marine Corps infantryman, Navy bomb squad officer. We'll get into all that, and he's also the founder of the MacArthur Group. Okay, Tom, why'd you join the Marines?
I wanted to go, kill people and break their things back then. That was pre 9/11, and that was what you do. You join the Marine Corps for that, right? That's what they do. You know this.
Mm-hmm. I do, but there are other options. You could have joined the Army or the Air Force, even though you're straight. Why did you choose the Marines?
I think I wanted to be the best. I think that's what it was. And when later on in my career, I spent a lot of time with the Army, and it was your mileage may vary. Did some stuff with Special Forces, with 1st Battalion for Special Forces Group out of Okinawa, and it was an interesting experience. So it was good. A lot of good stuff. No, but
Okinawa was always an interesting experience. I do remember that as well. Okay, so bomb squad. What does a Navy bomb squad officer do? My only experience with this is watching that movie Blown Away.
It's better known within the military as EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal. I just usually say bomb squad because most folks don't know what EOD means or stands for. So what we did is we render safe any and all explosive hazards. During most of my time, I actually specialized in weapons of mass destruction. So that was the nuclear threat, the biological, chemical. That's what I did with that Army Special Operations Unit. Worked really closely with a couple of other, well-known units as well, as far as on the counterterrorism side of things. So, rhymes with SEAL Team 6, those guys, supported all of them. Did a lot of fun work with all those guys and spent a lot of time at Los Alamos National Lab, Sandia National Lab, learning about nuclear weapons and all that stuff. It was exciting times, did some really cool stuff. Fortunately, though, never had to actually do my job, because that would have been bad for all of us if we actually had to, do the job.
Tom, there are who knows how many young men out there watching this, and they are curious, what are the requirements? What's the training like to get into cool stuff like that? Men want to go do cool stuff, especially young men, not old guys like us.
I got to say that you got to be, first off, in very good physical condition, but you also have to have a brain that works. So most Navy EOD techs and EOD officers are something like highly athletic nerds. They got to be pretty good technically as well. So, for example, Navy EOD training is considered to be the second most academically difficult training pipeline in the Navy, next to nuclear power, nuclear engineering, and probably the second most debatable physically demanding, next to BUDS. So we need somebody who is exceptionally intelligent, knows how to follow directions, good with their hands, and also knows how to jump, swim, dive, shoot, all that good stuff. So I need somebody who is the full package. And very proud, my brother is also a Navy EOD officer. He's just been selected for commander for 05. We are a very small community. There's only about 400 Navy EOD officers on active duty and about 11 or 1,200 enlisted. So if you've been in the community for longer than a minute, we all know who you are. So when my brother was going through training, I've got buddies of mine who are his instructors at dive school and EOD school, send me pictures of him getting thrashed. It was great stuff. So loved it.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
That's always a good time. All right, tell me about how we're taking care of veterans in this country, or not taking care of veterans.
Well, no, I'm glad you asked that one. So what I've been doing for the past 6 years or so, my business partner, who was actually my classmate from Annapolis, we started a company that focuses on very intensive mental health treatment and addiction treatment for veterans. And when I say mental health addiction treatment, I'm not talking about like a counseling session where we just spoke to them once. These are guys who are the most vulnerable, who are really on the brink of death or going back to prison, or these are guys who have already lost their families, as in they've cut them off. These are guys who are really at rock bottom. And we did that. We started that company through a community care network contract with the Department of Veterans Affairs, which was a result from the VA Mission Act, which was from Trump 45's term. And unfortunately, right now there are unelected VA bureaucrats who are doing everything they can to derail community care. So it's gotten so bad, in fact, that unfortunately myself and other community care providers like me, we're looking at closing our doors right now because there are people within VA. Yeah, and I've been in, look, and to be honest, I'm calling you from DC right now. And I've been in direct communication with senior people at VA. They understand the problem, but here's the part of it is that this is like the deep state stuff. It really is. You might not know this, Jess, but like the VA is the second largest agency in the federal government. People don't know that. There's over 400,000 employees. The VA has more employees than the US Army has soldiers, right? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. And if you think about that, there are within VA right now, there are currently no Trump political appointees within the Veterans Healthcare Administration, right, who have been confirmed yet by the Senate. So right now, you've got the careers, so to speak, inmates running the asylum right now. And I'm talking to senior folks. They recognize there's a problem. They're looking into it. But what's happened now is between reducing the amount that they reimburse community care providers, such as my company, by 2/3, which they did earlier this year, and then cutting off the flow of veterans who need help, by the way. I mean, this is when the VAs are at capacity, the VA hospitals themselves for inpatient treatment, and there are very few options for them. I'm not sure what's happening to them. I've testified before House Veterans Affairs Committee on this 2 years ago. I've been pretty active on the Hill, and despite some very encouraging news I thought we would see from VA at the high level, the problem is, though, it's not making its way to the field at all.
Can the Trump administration get this fixed in 3 years? Why does this take so long? I understand it's only been 11 months, but is this something we can get fixed? We need to get this fixed.
I agree with you. I would say that the first thing that needs to happen is the VHA, so the Veterans Healthcare Administration, which is the biggest part of VA by far. I mean, most of VA, the budget and people, is in healthcare, right? I think it's like 85% of the VA budget is going into healthcare. And of that, at least the operating budget. And so then of that, we don't have any political appointees in there, right? So the Senate needs to get off their asses. They need to confirm those folks and a number of them as well, because sometimes there's only so much at the highest levels. And I feel that this is a missed opportunity for the VA. I really do. And, there's lots of Senate and House hearings. I've testified in one. I've sat in on a dozen more, and they keep talking about how bad the problem is. People with VA say that at the top level say it's going to get fixed, but guess what? I've said this very clearly to a senior person in the VA, a very senior one, is that, look, people within the VA, the careers, these are their deep state types, administrative state, whatever you want to call them, they hate community care because they look as a threat to their budgets. They hate the secretary and they hate the president. I mean, straight up. And so think of it like this. Imagine if the VA was a very dysfunctional, bloated public school system, right? Community care providers are the charter schools. So, and then if you put that school district in charge of which students they send to the charter schools, if you put that school district in charge of how much that school gets paid, what do you think is going to happen? Right? So that's essentially it. They look as a threat to their budget.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and look,
Tom, thank you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Happy Veterans
Absolutely.
Day and Semper Fi, my man. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.